You've spent countless hours building systems, right? You've got your standard operating procedures, your SOPs, you've mapped out workflows, you've set up automations, and yet you're still stuck working those grueling 10-hour days. If that sounds familiar, you're definitely not alone. The problem isn't that you're not trying to build systems, it's that you're probably missing the one single component that actually makes them work. So today, we're going to uncover that missing piece and show you how to finally get your systems working for you instead of the other way around.
So let's just get right to it. Why? After all that effort, why does it still feel like your business will just fall apart if you're not there for every little thing? If you feel like your growth has hit a wall and you're just constantly putting out fires, I'll bet the reason is not what you think it is.
And this right here really gets to the heart of it. You feel the symptoms on the left all day, every day. You're overwhelmed. Growth is stalled out. But the root cause? It's a fundamental misunderstanding of what a system even is. Your systems right now are probably just a bunch of documents sitting in a folder somewhere that nobody ever looks at. They're not what they're supposed to be. Actual, living machines that are designed to produce a result.
And that brings us to the most important mental shift we have to make. We've got to stop thinking about systems as static checklists and start seeing them as dynamic, result-producing machines.
So here's our new definition. A system isn't just a piece of paper or a Google Doc, it's a machine. It takes something in, it does something to it, and it spits out a predictable, measurable results on the other side. I want you to think of your entire business like a factory.
Every machine needs raw materials to work with, right? It's the same for your business. These are your inputs. This could be a new lead from your website, a customer support ticket, or a request for a new project. You have to know exactly what raw material your machine is starting with.
Okay, so you've got your raw materials. Next up is the assembly line itself. These are your processes, the step-by-step actions that take that input and start transforming it. This is where the actual work happens.
And then finally, at the end of the assembly line, you get your finished product. This is your output. Now this is absolutely crucial. The output has to be a specific, measurable result, a signed contract, a completed project, a published blog post. If you can't measure the output, you don't really have a system.
All right, so that's the theory of the machine. But how do you actually take this idea and apply it to your business, which might feel kind of chaotic right now? Well, it all starts by creating a map of your factory.
Here's the 5-step process to map your entire machine. First up, you identify your big departments, your major functions, marketing, sales, operations, finance. Then, for each one, you define its one clear goal. What is marketing really trying to do? Then step 3, and this one is a game changer, list every single task you do and ask what its true purpose is. For instance, the purpose of creating content isn't just to get likes, it's to generate leads for the sales team. See how that clarity changes things? From there, you organize those tasks under their proper function. And finally, you document the exact steps for each task. These are the blueprints for your machine.
Now, even if you do all of that perfectly, you'll still have a machine that can break down without you ever knowing why. Most business owners stop right there, but they're missing the most critical part, the one component that actually makes the machine intelligent.
So what is it? What's the secret ingredient? What's that one thing that turns a rigid, kind of dumb process into a smart, self-improving system that actually lets you step away? It's the feedback loop. This, right here, is the whole shebang. Without a feedback loop, your system is just static. It's flying blind. It can't learn, it can't adapt, and you're left trying to fix problems based on a gut feeling instead of cold, hard facts.
This quote just nails it. A system by itself is blind. The feedback loop is what gives your machine eyes. It shines a light on all those invisible problems, the little friction points that are secretly killing your growth.
And check out this real-world example. A founder was losing coaching clients left and right. His first guess? Oh, it must be a sales issue, or maybe the clients just aren't motivated. But once he actually went out and got feedback, he discovered the real problem. His onboarding process was an absolute nightmare. He was hitting new clients with 15 action items on their very first day. Of course they were overwhelmed. He simplified the process, and boom, client retention shot right back up. The system couldn't tell him that. The feedback loop did.
And you really need two kinds of feedback to make this work. First, you need the quantitative. That's the hard data, the metrics, the numbers on your scorecards that tell you objectively what is happening. But you also desperately need the qualitative, the surveys, the team check-ins, the conversations that uncover the why behind the numbers. That's the human experience. You need both to see the full picture.
Okay, so once you have all this feedback coming in, what do you actually do with it? This is where our next big idea comes in, and it's a really powerful way to focus your energy so you get the biggest bang for your buck. I want you to imagine your entire business, from the moment a person first hears about you all the way to when you get paid, as one single long pipe. Your only goal is to get as much water flowing through that pipe as smoothly as possible. Anytime things feel slow or your results are unpredictable, it's because there's a blockage somewhere in that pipe.
So let's break that down. The water flowing through the pipe, that's your value stream. It's your leads, your clients, and ultimately, your profit. The different sections of the pipe are just your different systems: marketing, then sales, then operations. Your marketing, that's the tap at the very beginning that controls how much water you let in. And the blockages? Well, those are the bottlenecks that are slowing the whole thing down.
Now, this is where almost everybody goes wrong. They look at their business, they see 5 different blockages, and they try to fix all 5 at once. But what happens? Their effort gets spread so thin that nothing actually gets fixed. The smart and kind of counterintuitive approach is to use your feedback and your data to find the single biggest blockage, the one main constraint, and pour all of your energy into fixing just that one thing. It might feel slower, but trust me, it's how you make real, lasting progress.
And this brings all of these ideas together into one simple, incredibly powerful cycle. This is the repeatable process you can use to systematically grow your business while actually working less.
Here it is, the whole loop. 1. You map your system so you can see the entire machine. 2. You track everything with scorecards and feedback so you actually know what's going on. 3. You use that data to find and fix the single biggest bottleneck that's holding you back. 4. Then and only then do you turn up the marketing tab to pour more leads into your now wider pipe. And 5. You just repeat the cycle over and over, finding the next bottleneck and starting again.
So, I'll just leave you with this one question. Forget everything else for a minute and just ask yourself, based on the data, the feedback, and your gut, what is the one single blockage in your business's pipe right now that if you fixed it would unlock the most flow? Find that thing, fix that thing. That is your next move.